Right, hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Dirt Road Salvation. I'm Joe, that's Tank, and that's Fatty Cake. Today we're going to talk about things to consider before getting your CDL. And without further ado, let's get into it. What you want to do. Do you want to do flatbed, which is, there's a lot of physical demand there. You have to secure your load, you got to run straps, chains, binders, all that stuff. A lot of physical work and a lot of responsibility, but on the other side of that, you see a lot of daylight because a lot of the shippers are open from 9 to 5. Do you want to do refrigerated freight, pulling a box trailer that's got an engine on the front of it that runs a refrigeration unit? You have to constantly monitor the temp and make sure that that engine's running and that you either have it on start, stop, or consistent, whichever one the customer prefers. You got to make sure not to shift the load because that's going to cause, there's lumper fees, and if you shift the load, then stuff gets rejected. You haul a lot of produce, some frozen goods, meats, and you do a lot of night running because grocery warehouses are typically only open at night to receive because in the morning they got to run out and they got to stock their stores. Or do you want to do dry van freight, which we all know what a dry van is. It's the big square 53-foot box on the back of my truck. It's general freight. You can haul pretty much anything in it that doesn't need to be temperature controlled or put on a flatbed. So the schedule on it's kind of all over the place, kind of like reefer. And the only thing with van freight is there's a lot of drop and hooks if you're at a large carrier. So that's another nice thing. Not as much dock time as there is with reefer truck. You want to talk about your home life, your family, and your friends. The number one thing I'm going to tell you if you're thinking about getting a CDL, do not, and I mean absolutely, do not even pick up that phone to call a recruiter and or talk to someone about getting a CDL until you have spoken with your spouse and your children. If you do not have a spouse and you do not have any children, talk to your parents, talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk this out. Getting into this career is a long decision that you have to be prepared for because in some instances, if you sign a contract, you're on the hook at least for a year. So this is going to test your relationships with them. Being an over-the-road truck driver, you are going to be gone a lot. You're going to miss birthdays. You're going to miss holidays. You're going to miss sporting events. You will not be coaching your children as little leagues, okay? You're going to miss these things. The standard for most OTR trucking companies is you get 1 day off for every week out. 3 weeks out, 3 days at home. 4 weeks out, 4 days at home, etc., etc. That also goes back into the first point. What kind of trucking do you want to do? That's not all trucking companies are that way, but that's kind of the industry standard. You need to make sure that you get your affairs in order and you have a strong support system. Make sure you've got as much stuff as possible paid off so you don't owe nobody anything. Make sure that you have a game plan in place so that way y'all know what's going to happen because, if little Jimmy breaks his leg, you're not going to be there to take him to the hospital. Your spouse is going to have to. And make sure to have an emergency fund so in case something detrimental does happen, you can fly home or get a rental car or a bus ticket at any given point in time. You should always have that money set aside. It is a life of sacrifice. You're going to make sacrifices in this industry that normal people do not have to make. The trucking lifestyle. Every day is a new adventure. No 2 days are the same. Even if you're picking up from one customer and going to another customer, it's an adventure, and there's so many different beautiful places to go see. The thing you're going to have to adjust to. This is what you're going to be sleeping in. You have to get used to being in these small spaces and sleeping in here because, we sleep at truck stops and rest areas. What you're going to do to keep yourself entertained. You're going to be alone. Your life back home is going to continue when you're in this truck. So you're going to be alone a lot unless you're teaming. So gotta have hobbies. I do YouTube. That's my hobby. It's what I do when I get bored. I make videos and people laugh at me and make fun of me and whatever. It is what it is. We go to spooky places like the Clown Motel. You're gonna eat, if you don't buy food and put food on your truck like I do and cook, like I mean, I got cooking ware. I cook on the truck, you know. You're gonna be eating in the truck stops, and that's expensive. I don't recommend doing it. The food is terrible for you. Most of the time it's McDonald's or Chester's, or both. Occasionally you have Subway, but looking at least $15 a meal. If you eat 3 times a day, that's $45 a day that you're gonna have to figure out where that money's gonna come from so you can eat. I recommend putting food on the truck. I always have stuff on the truck. Canned goods, ramen noodles. I have a fridge with a freezer on it, you know. The biggest thing about the trucking life, if you're sitting still and you're not moving, you're not getting paid. Everything here in the trucking industry is paid on a per mile basis. Don't be dilly-dallying around. Take your 10s, get up and roll. Make on-time deliveries, make on-time pickups, and keep that truck moving. That's the only way you're gonna make money. You have to keep that truck moving. Figure out how you're going to obtain your CDL. Are you going to go to college? Are you gonna pay out of pocket or take a loan for the cost of a trucking school? Or are you gonna sign on to a mega carrier and sign a 1-year contract to work for them? So, in summary, you're going to have to be resilient. At the end of the day, getting your CDL is not for the faint of heart. It is a life of sacrifice, and you are going to have some challenge. It is a lifestyle full of trials and adversity. It'll be a big change in your life and for those around you. It's going to change your spouse's life. It's going to change your kids' life. It's going to change your parents' lives. It's going to have an effect because you're going to be gone. And when you're home, make the most of your time at home. But if you do it right and you find a good carrier to get in with that allows you to be home more and still make a decent living, if you work the system the right way and you do things right, you can make a better life for yourself and your family. And at the end of the day, that's what trucking is all about, is to be able to provide a better life for those we love and care about than the life that we ever had. Drop a comment below. Tell me what you think. Leave a like, hit the share button, do all that good stuff. Think about subscribing. We put how-to videos out and all kinds of stuff related to trucking all the time. So, until next time, y'all, I love y'all.